Welcome everyone to the October Frictionless Data Call. Today we're going to hear from Sassi, who's here as a frictionless data developer. She's going to present us the Zenodo integration she's been working on, integrating with the Frictionless Pi. And I'm going to leave to Sassi to talk about it. But yeah, let's just maybe do a quick round of introductions. I can start. So I'm Sara Petti. I'm the community manager of Frictionless Data. I'm based in Bologna, Italy. And yeah, it's still very hot here. So it's like, as I like to say, it's like number 86th of August or something. And I'll leave the floor to Keith. Do you want to go next?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Keith. I'm a postdoc researcher and bioinformatician at the National Institutes of Health, currently on the West Coast. And it's nice to see everyone. I'll pass it on to Edgar.
Hello, I'm a software developer working on Open Knowledge, and I'm Brazilian, based in Rapallo, Italy. And I, from time to time, I contribute to Frictionless. And I pass to Taras.
Hi, everyone. I'm Taras. I build data tools, notebooks for developers and data scientists to build dashboards on contract. I'm based in Chicago. Nice to see everyone. I'll pass it on to Frederic.
Hi, I'm Friederike. I'm from Northern Germany, and I'm here with my colleague Jesper Telitz for open data. And I pass it on to Jesper.
Yeah, that's me, Jesper Telitz, who work for the State Chancellery of the Federal State of Schleswig-Holstein in Germany. And we are running the open data portal. And we are planning to use frictionless data to provide better quality data from our government. And I pass it on to Oleg.
Hi, everyone. My name is Oleg Lavrovsky. I'm based in Switzerland, and I'm one of the people behind Open Data CH, the local Open Knowledge chapter. I'm a software developer today at the headquarters of a project I've been working on for the past 9 months, which is the Swiss refugee program to help settle, in particular, Ukrainian refugees. But now there's like another fresh refugee crisis, another wave of people from places like Afghanistan and Syria coming away. Anyways, lots of tech problems, a lot of data protection issues, a lot of data archiving issues as well. So anyway, really happy to be part of the Frictionless Data Network and contributor as much as possible. Well, I'm also teaching with data packages and frictionless data. That's what I've been doing a lot the past month, spending time in the classroom with students, taking them through the paces of making their first data package, which is really enjoyable. I'll pass the ball over to Aditya.
Yeah, I think Aditya is also writing only. She's following from a bot, so you'll have to pick someone else.
But Peter, have you gone already?
Oh, hello, Peter Desmet, working for IMBO. I'm based in Belgium. I work with biodiversity data, currently mainly with animal tracking and camera trap data, and trying to basically bring frictionless standards to the biodiversity informatics community. I've been publishing a lot of data on Zenodo, so I'm curious to hear this talk. Also have published data packages on Zenodo and trying to use Frictionless to build a standard for camera trap exchange, camera trap data exchange, which will also be likely published on Zenodo. And I'm giving it forward to Augusto.
Hello, I'm Augusto. I'm based in Brasilia. I work as a data engineer at the Ministry of Economy in Brazil. I have a long time involvement with the open data movement. I use frictionless data to publish open data as with the table schema. And also today is a very busy day. We are also the World Ethical Data Forum. And there's a lot going on, and to top it all, it's also my birthday today. And Peter, I just wanted to ask, has a paper of yours just received an award? I heard a name or someone named just like you today in the podcast.
Me? No, not that I'm aware of. Can you maybe forward the link?
So I think someone with the same name. I've searched for it. It was a podcast. Okay. And then I pass on to Andres.
Thank you. I am Andres from Córdoba in Argentina. We are enjoying a very nice spring now. And I am from OKF. I am a software developer. I am not frictionless developer, but I am very interested in knowing the path of the frictionless project. That's what I am here. And I pass to Amber.
Yeah, Amber, you arrived a bit late, but we're just doing a quick round of introductions. If you want to quickly introduce yourself.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I don't have my camera on, I think. Okay, well, it seems like my camera is not happy. I'm sorry about that, but so I'm Amber York. I'm at the World Oceanographic Institution at BICODEMA, which is a data management office for the National Science Foundation. And we use frictionless data pipelines in our core SOP for data processing.
Excellent. Thanks, Amber. And would you like to pick someone else to go after you? I think that who else needs to go? Oh, we all went, I think, right?
Oh, because I'm sorry I was late. I don't know who's already gone, so maybe you can pick.
No, I'm not totally sure myself. I think we all went, but if I'm missing someone, please, that's your moment now. Oh, Sassy actually needs to introduce herself, of course, but yeah, because Gabriel is also on writing and listening only. So yes, before I leave the floor to you, Sassy, I just wanted to say happy birthday, Augusto. We didn't know it was your birthday. That's great to hear.
Thank you, Sarah. And
happy birthday.
And yeah, so Sassy, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm Sassy, and I'm currently working as a developer in Open Knowledge Foundation, and I'm currently contributing in Frictionless by library. So, and shall I start the presentation, or is it?
Sure.
I'm sorry, if there's any way you can turn up the volume on your mic a little bit or speak a little louder, it would be helpful.
There's a background, there's a...
Now, is it audible?
Okay, I think now it's better.
Okay, I'll do this then. See my screen. Is it visible? My screen is visible now?
Yes.
Hi everyone, and thank you all for joining. And today I'm going to present about a new feature that we are currently working on, which is integrating Zenodo with Frictionless by library. And it's still in the development phase, but we wanted to share with the community so that we can get early feedback from you, and then incorporate those feedback in the library as early as possible. And this is my team, and I really would like to thank my team for all the support and help they provided. I'm very happy to be part of this team. And now I'll start my presentation. And for if you have any questions, we can keep the questions till the last of the presentation. And after the presentation, we'll open for the questions. I hope that is okay.
Sure. Yeah, let's do like this, Sas. It's great.
Okay. And I'm sure that everybody knows about Zenodo, and it's an open access repository. Which and sorry for the background noise. There's other noise also due to the festival season. So if there are any noises, please let me know. And okay, I'll continue my presentation. So it's an open access repository where like researchers can upload their research papers and data, which is open to all, and anyone can like use that data or research and reproduce the research or use it in any ways they want. And then again we have our Frictionless library, which helps to which makes sharing data easy by like adding metadata and also providing the like various tools and specifications and also validation tools. So we wanted to make the integration, we wanted to integrate the data sharing between these two different platforms and make it easy for the user. For example, if you have like Frictionless user who wants to process the data in the Frictionless library, like add metadata and then validate the data and then publish their data to the Zenodo dataset repository, then this plugin makes it easy. And similarly the other way around from Zenodo also, if some Frictionless user again wants to read the data from the Zenodo repository, then they can easily read the data from there. So we want this process easy, so that's why we developed this Zenodo plugin. And again this plugin is in the development mode still, and to use this feature you have to have this minimal version of our Frictionless library. You have to install this one to test it. So to get started with the features, we have added 3 different features. One is reading, writing, and creating the catalog from the repository. The first one is reading, and we wanted to make it simple without any additional features. So it's as simple as reading the data package from the local system. So we can just pass the URL of the Zenodo repository, and then it will identify that it's a the record from the Zenodo application. So it will read the data package from there and then returns the data package. The output is will be similar as shown in on the right side of the slide. It will return the it will return the package after reading it from the repository. And we also have this alias function which does the same thing. And here while reading the data, there are 2 different cases. One is like the record. By record, I mean the repository in the Zenodo application, because the Zenodo API refers this each repo as a record. So I may also use it interchangeably. Like I may also refer each repo as a record. So the record may or may not have the package descriptor. If it doesn't have the package descriptor, then this plugin will read all the resources which is there in the record, which is supported by the Frictionless framework, and then create the data package descriptor and returns it back as a package. And this is the example of the repo which does not have the package descriptor. And similarly, if there is a package descriptor in the record, in the Zenodo record, then it will just read that package and returns it back. And the output is shown in the slide on the right side of the slide. So this is how the reading can be done by simply using these two functions, either passing the URL in the package class or using from Zenodo alias function. And the second feature that we have is creating the catalog from multiple records. The first one was mostly about reading one record at a time, but here in catalog we can read multiple records and create catalog from it. And here you can see in this example, I'm using this search query, which is like I want to find all the records which has TDWD mentioned in the notes field of the record. So it will search for all the records that it can find with this matching query, and then it will create the list of packages that a list of records. It will find the records, converts those records into the packages, and it will make the list of packages and create catalog and returns the catalog. Here this search query is matching two records there in the Zenodo repository. So we have two packages in that catalog, and when I print the packages, it will look like this, which I have shared in the right side of the screen, the output. And the output is the partial output, because the whole output won't fit on the screen. So that's why I only pasted the half of the screenshot. Similarly, I used one search before, like to create the catalog. Similarly, we can use many different search queries, build like complex search queries or simple or complex search queries using many different terms or fields as such. Here are some example of search query, and the first one is I'm using two different terms, I can find records which have these two different terms, open or science. And if I want to make it mandatory, like both of them has to be in the record, then I have to add plus sign before this. Then it will be AND operation. If not, then it will be OR operation. So this is how it will work. And I can use terms only. I can use field value. Like I can also search for the records which have title, open science, and also I can like build queries by combining these two, like using the first two, using this first term and the second field value pair, and then build the query and pass it as a search parameter to the catalog. Then it will find the records that match those queries and returns it back as a like it will create the list of packages and returns it as a catalog. And to know more about the search queries, we have this official documentation of Zenodo. It has list of all the queries that we can build and explanation as well. And even when we click it here, it will also show the results. Yeah, it will show the results, but now it's not showing. Let me try again. Like this. So we can use any of these terms or phrase, or combine these terms, phrases, and then field value pairs to create the queries, and pass it to the plugin, and then create the catalog. So it will support all kind of queries that is supported by Zenodo API. So this is how the search will work. And the next one is I can also like order the results by any terms. There are a few terms that has been allowed, that is allowed by the API, which we can find in the documentation side. So one of it is most recent. So I can also order the records by this term. which is the most recent one will be on the top and others will be on the bottom. And here I'm using this search, all the records which has, sorry, I think this query is wrong. It has to have colon here, but what it does is all the records whose creator name is FD tester and which should be sorted by most recent one on the top. So this query will return the results with sorted in the descending order. And if I want to reverse the order, then I can just pass minus here, and then it will reverse the order and it will change it to ascending order. And also there are two different parameters that I'm using here, which is I'm reading the first page, and each page has only one record here. By default, it will have 10 records in each page, but since I have set the size to 1, then each page will have only one record, and I'm reading the first page only. So the output will only be one package, and because of that. So this is how the sorting works. And page, and like we can also control, we can also read like page 1, or I may want to read only page 10. So I can set it like this, and then read only the page that I want to read. So this is how it will work. And the last one is writing the package to the repository. And to write the package, we need metadata and the package itself. To write, first I need to read a package. I need to have a package instance, and then in the package instance I can just call this function to Zenodo, and it will write the package descriptor and all the resources to the Zenodo record repository. And since Zenodo requires us to also give the link to the metadata, we need to pass the metadata to it, and we'll pass it in the form of control. And metadata is about the metadata of the record of the Zenodo repository. So we can pass it as a JSON file, and when we pass it, it will write the packages there, and then it will return the deposition ID once it successfully writes the package to the repository. And the controls, the control is the way we can change, we can set the parameters of the plugin, or we can change, we can modify the behavior of the plugin. And we have multiple different parameters that we can set, and all these parameters do not apply to all the 3 functions. Like some apply to write, some are required for the read function, and some are for the catalog. So we can set the parameters using the control class, Zenodo control class, and we pass it like this. We pass the control object and then set the parameter of the plugin. We can either pass it in the package class while we are creating the instance of the package, or we can also pass it in the functions, which I'll show later in the demo. So this is how the controls work. And sorry, and here is the link of all the features that I have explained before. I have like created a demo and uploaded it in the GitHub, but the demo that I'm going to show will be locally run. So I will use another file to show I will use the local notebook to show the demo.
Yeah, sorry, I interrupt you 1 second, Sassy. I just want to tell everyone that the link to Sassy's slides are inside the agenda doc. So if you want, you can find the link there.
Okay. So I'll start the demo now. For the demo, I'm reading the API key, and the API key is needed while writing the package to the repository, and also to increase the access limit if I'm not using the API key, I'll only have like 60 requests per minute. And if I use API key, I can have 100 requests per minute. And that's while reading, we may not need the API key, but if we use, we can have more number of requests per minute. And I'm using two different API because Zenodo, in Zenodo, I was it doesn't allow to read the data from the sandbox because they say that they frequently delete the records from the sandbox. So I can only use sandbox for to test the uploads, and that's why I'll use the write. I'll use this to write to show the demo of the write function, and use this API key to read the records from the live site for the read functions. So this is the this is how we read the record from the Zenodo repository. I'm passing this record URL, and in the package class.
Sassi, we're not seeing the demo. We're still on the slides. Thanks, Peter, for bringing it up.
Oh, sorry. I think it will. I'll need to reshare my screen, so I'll stop sharing.
Sure,
and
go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Now, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Demo. Okay. So, so here the minimal version is this to use this feature, and I'll show what this record has in the Zenodo repository. So it has these two files here. Without it doesn't have any descriptor. So when I read this, read the package from this repo, it will create a descriptor and then returns the package here like this. It has two different data sources, capital CSV and table XLS, and then it will just take the name of that name of the record and then returns the package as such. And similarly, like if it has a descriptor, like this another record has a descriptor, and it will just read the descriptor and then returns the descriptor, the package to us. So I'll show this one as well with the descriptor. So we have this package descriptor and two files, and data.csv and data2.csv. And when I ran this code, it has this like resource. This is the package with the two resources. It read that descriptor and then returned it back. And once we get the package, we can then apply any functions that we have in the Frictionless library. For example, if I want to read the resource of that package, then I can apply all those functions that we have. So when I run this command, I'm reading the reading resource 0 and then of this package, and then reading from another package, I'm reading the resource of the first resource. So this is the output, and this is from the second package, first resource. And then I can also apply the validate function and also get the report like this. And we can use other functions as well. This is just an example. And like I said, it does the same thing even if I use API key, just increasing the access limit. So Now also the catalog creation. So now I'm using this query here, which is a record which has TDWD in the notes. So then, so this will search for all the records that has this and then returns back. I'm setting this parameter using Genodo control class, and then I'm passing it to the catalog as a control parameter. And when I run this command, it will find those records, converts it to the packages, adds it to the catalog and returns. So it found 2 records, and then we have a catalog with 2 packages. This is the first package, and this is the second package. And you can see the name is same here. It's because both of the records has the same name, so which I can show by running this query in the here. I've already ran the query, but look at so since this have same name, that's why it's taking the same name. But if it had 2 different names, then the title would be different. Similarly, I can also apply those all the functions of the frictionless library and view the record and also run the validate on those packages. So here I'm reading the package 0 and the resource 0 of package 0 and viewing the records and also applying validation on package 0, and this is the output of the validation. And now the source, different source that we can use. There are many different ways to build the source, but I chose like few examples only to show here. Here I'm using this 2 terminology without field name, and I'm using plus sign. Plus sign means mandatory, both have to be. So it's not or operation, it would be and. So when I run this, it found 1 package and then created the catalog out of it. So and then I can also this is first example of the search query, and this is another example. Here I'm trying to find the records with title that have frictionless, which is mandatory, and also the publication which has to be between these 2 dates. So when I run this command, when this catalog command, then I get 2 packages. I'm not printing the catalog because I have already shown the example above. Here I'm only showing how many packages is there in the catalog. So we have a catalog and I'm just printing the packages. So it found 2 records and created a catalog out of by adding those 2 packages. Similarly, I can do the sorting by ascending and descending order. Here, this one will be the descending order because the name is most recent, so it has to be on the top. And it will only read 1 record because I have passed page 1 and size 1. So here I'm reading the catalog, and this is the output of the catalog. And this is the title of the package that it read, because it read only 1 package. So we only have one package here, but still we need to use the index. So it's reading the first package and the title is this, and I'm also reading the data from the first resource of the package. So and this is the output. And in order to, like, we have this title right now, I got one using this query, I got 1 result, and the results and the title of the package is this one. Now I'm using the same query, which is creator's name FT tester and most recent, but I'm passing minus sign here So I'm reversing the order now, and other parameters are also same. So it should have a different name now when I run, like different package, if there are more than one records. So yes, now the name of the package title is different, which is frictionless data test data set, and it had to, because it has now reversed the order from older one on the top and then recent one on the bottom. And now I'll show how so the function of writing the package to the repository. So I will start from here. This is the function that writes to the repository, and for that we need to have a package. And then just running this function and passing the parameters, needed parameters, would just write the data to the repository. And the main parameter that we need is the metadata. So I'm passing it here as a meta function, and I'm using sandbox sandbox for this. So I am passing API key sandbox, and since I'm using sandbox sandbox API key, I have to pass this URL sandbox URL as well, because by default it will take the URL of the live site, and if I want to use the sandbox URL, then I need to specify using base URL. So I passed it here, and the metadata file looks like this. Here I'm setting the upload type, a title of the record, description, and creators. When I run this, it will create the record here in the Zenodo. Let's wait. I think it will take some time. So it's taking some, I think it will take some time. So I'll leave it. I'll go to the next one. This is the last one, and then I'll keep it as it is. So once it, while I'm showing this, if it is completed, then I'll show the results. So, and the output of this is like when it creates a record there, it will return a deposition ID, and it will be printed here. And here is the control, how we can use the control to set the property of the plugin. So we'll use the Zenodo control class and create the control object and pass it to the package class like this, or we can pass it to the function, like to Zenodo, and from Zenodo function we can pass it from there as well, or we can just pass it while initializing like creating the package. And there are many different properties that we can set, which I have shown in the slide, and I have listed all the properties there. And some of the properties, example of the properties are like formats. If I want to only read CSV file from this record, then I'll use this formats parameter and record and pass the API key, and then use this control to set the property of the plugin. And when I run this, it's still running. So when I run this, then we'll get this output. It will only read the CSV file and not read if there are XLS file or other files that is supported, which are supported by the Frictionless library or by the plugin. Since I mentioned only CSV file, it will only read the CSV file, and we can set the controls like that. We can set the properties like that. So I'm not sure, shall we wait for this one, or shall I move forward? It has to.
Yeah.
It's on halfway. It has created a record. Now it has to set the metadata as well. Maybe I'll wait for 2 minutes. If that's okay, Sarah.
Of course. I wonder if maybe Sassi, do we want to start maybe to take on some questions while we wait for this to charge?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that would be better. Yes. So here my presentation ends, and we are waiting for this one to complete, and I'll move to the slide. So I hope I have explained things clearly, and thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, please, I'll try to answer as much as I can.
Thanks very much, Sassi. That was great. And yeah, let's keep that last surprise for the end. If do we have any questions here? Peter, you go first, and then Jasper.
Yes, so for reading data, this is a bit similar as in the R package. You can provide a URL to Zenodo. It is very nice that you can provide the URL of the deposits. I'm thinking of adding that too. Are you thinking of adding support for just pasting the DOI there, which is used more often than the deposit URL, so that in the background maybe the system is able to figure out, oh, this is a DOI that goes to Zenodo, therefore I now have the URL of Zenodo, I can go further with the functionality.
So did you mean like using DOI to write the files?
No, to read data from a package on Zenodo.
Okay. Currently we are using the record to read the data, like record ID. So yes, we can add that as well. Like.
Yeah, that would be cool. And I will then look how you did that and implement that for the R package as well.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thanks, Peter. Jasper, you next.
Yeah, I have two questions. One is, does the plugin load the complete files, the complete resource files like CSV or Excel files? There might be huge files within one record, or do you only read the header lines? And that's the first question. And the second question is, if a data package JSON file is contained in the Zenodo record, does your plugin recognize it to build a complete frictionless package?
Yes. It doesn't load the data immediately, like while reading the data from the repository. I think this question can be answered by, if Gani can answer this question, then that would be like he can add more insight on that. But the data is not immediately loaded while reading the repository. And second question, you said that if there is a data packet, if there is a JSON file, will it also read? Will it read the data package? Then yes, it does. Sorry for being confused, but yes, it does. Create the package from the if there is a data package in the repository, then it does create the package. It does identify the data package. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, then so maybe for older, I have some old records on Zenodo. Maybe if I'm going to add a data package JSON file to make it more useful. But I would like to learn about how you can extract the header lines from a CSV file, or so do you have to download the complete file immediately? As you said, someone else might be able to answer that.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll discuss with the team and then answer it in the community channel. But I'm very confident that it doesn't read the file immediately. It's similar, like everything is on the background. I'm we are using the Frictionless library, so it only reads the data package, and then it will only read the data when we run the view and other extract function. But I still need to confirm with if Kenny, and then I will answer it in the community channel. Wait.
Yes, and I think Evgeny partly answered also your question, Jasper, in the chat. Peter, did you have another question or?
Yes, I have.
And then Oleg, it's up to you after.
You mentioned for writing data packages that some of the metadata at Zenodo is populated from the data package JSON. How much of that translation is being done? I'm asking because I'm interested for the standard I'm developing for camera trap data. All the metadata about the data set is contained in the data package JSON. And it would, of course, be very useful if we use this functionality to publish to Zenodo that all the metadata contained there that is compatible with the Zenodo metadata is converted. So I'm curious what data package, what metadata fields are currently translated to Zenodo metadata.
Currently, we are not using any metadata from the data package to set the metadata of the record. We are I'm currently using a different, we have to pass a different metadata, the JSON file to set the metadata of the record. But like you said, maybe we can use the metadata of the data package, some of the metadata of the data package to set the metadata of the record.
That would be a very useful one as defaults, at least. That title, contributors, there's many aspects, description, rights holders, many aspects that are there, and that metadata can be then transferred, so the user has to do less if it is already contained in the data package JSON file.
So I will include that in this plugin.
Thanks, Peter, for your question, which also was a question that Amber wanted to ask, apparently. Oleg, you're up next.
Okay, I have two quick questions. I mean, first of all, thank you for a super cool project and demonstration. My question is, are there plans to implement something like the JSON LD endpoint? I put a link into the chat. Just like any Zenodo record, you can actually just add /export/schema.org JSON LD at the end, and you get a nice, schema.org kind of representation. I'm wondering if there's plans to implement that for data packages as well, or in any case, how do you expect researchers to discover frictionless data and make it this part of their research or looking for research?
This question, maybe I'm not very, I do not have the answer right now, but I will discuss with the team and then share it in the community channel.
Okay, or maybe my second question is be easier. It's data management plans, DMPs, they're super important to all researchers. That's like a statement of how they're going to use data and at which point in the project, how it will be archived. So have you thought about this being like your work being maybe very useful for that?
Again, this one, this question also, I really don't have the answer right now. So maybe I'll discuss with Evgeny and then again share in the community channel if that's okay.
Let's just put it this way. I'd be really happy to support, you having a chat with people at CERN or, in the open research community to see this becoming kind of, really a best practice.
Okay.
I think that would be very cool, Oleg, if we could do that. And I think that definitely we want to somehow frame the work that we want to do with data management plans as well. We haven't thought about it for the moment, but definitely something that we can think about in the future.
Cool.
Do we have other questions?
I just want to follow up on the data management comment. I think that's a really, really good foresight. And I wonder how much of tools like this are more on the access side, and a lot of the language in the data management plan itself is usually about where it's stored, not necessarily how it's accessed. So that's an interesting point that I think we often gloss over in developing these data management plans, is thinking about the users and how they access it rather than just where it's physically ends up.
Yeah, very good point, Amber. Peter, you had a question.
Yes, if there is no data package present and you're reading from Zenodo, I assume that it will create a separate resource for each CSV file it creates and not try to bundle CSV files with similar names into one resource, or if the same headers are present to bundle them in one resource. Again, for example, for the data that we have, we split very voluminous data by year, but it becomes one resource, but there's one file per year. I'm assuming that when there's no data package JSON present, it cannot detect that automatically.
Yes, it can't. It will create, like if the files are separated into multiple files, then it will create a separate resource for the different files and then and create the package. So yes.
Okay, thanks.
Other questions? I think we might still have time for one. If anyone has any other questions or comments.
I go.
Yeah.
So all this is great, but you know, data world is moving more to binary data formats, error data packet, right? Aeroflight via gRPC and protocols, so it's more efficient to get large data chunks, so to speak. This is more a question for Eugene. I know you have some Parquet data support. The protocols like Aeroflight actually support the schema and data information you can get that probably is easily convertible between, you know, going from data package, your descriptor, to their form, and then getting the data back efficiently. Just something to think about.
Thanks, Taras. Maybe something, if you want, you can also say that in the, as it's like a general feedback on frictionless data, you can also say so in the general channel in the community chat so that we could take, I mean, we record this request, so this note.
No, this is great. I'm just kind of, you know, from what I'm seeing in the field, that's where a lot of data analytics tools and all our databases are going to now.
Yes, thanks. We don't have any more time for questions now because I would like to do a few announcements, but I encourage you, if you have any questions, even not now, but maybe later on, you can all join the community chat and ask the questions there. Sas is there, I'm there, Evgen is there, Edgar is there, so anyone from the team can answer your questions. Or if you have any requests or feedback, we're there to listen. So few things that I wanted to announce. The next community call, it was supposed to be on the 24th of November. Now, thanks, Taras just pointed out that that's Thanksgiving in the US, so maybe we want to move that call. So stay tuned on the community chat or on the GitHub project. I will announce the correct date. We don't have in principle a presentation yet, although we are thinking, because we are right now working on a CCAN frictionless integration, that maybe we will present that at that point. So date to be confirmed, stay tuned. The other thing that I wanted to announce is that we're organizing a CSV conference. And for those of you who are not familiar with it, it's a community event for data makers around the world. This year is happening, I mean, it's in 2023, so next year. It's happening in Buenos Aires. And if you want to submit a talk, the proposals are open until the 25th of November, so you still have a little bit of time. I'll paste the link here in the chat so you can go and have a look if you want. It's a very cool conference, so I'll definitely encourage all of you to submit the talk. Other thing that I wanted to announce is we published an article, maybe some of you noticed it already, on the frictionless data standards, and we talked about datos.gov.br, Augusto, and we also talked about Bigodimo. So if you want to go and have a look, the link is in the agenda doc. And one other, it's more of a question, open question. Again, you can answer to this in the chat because we don't have a lot of time. Well, for people like Keith, for example, that are in a time zone that make it sometimes difficult to attend the community calls that are our usual time, and I know that Augusto also has a recurrent engagement at that time. What do you think about having community calls at different times so that we can try to be as inclusive as possible? Do you think that's a plan, or would you prefer to stick to one time? And if yes, we can think about a time that works for everyone.
I'm okay with doing it at different times, especially if you have people coming from Asia from time to time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm okay too. And also, you're very generous to have cited us as having data sets in plural. We have only one with Frictionless, but we intend to release another one pretty soon with Frictionless as well. But thanks.
Great, thanks. And thanks, Peter, for sharing also this event that you're organizing. I'll put it in the agenda doc so that we have a record of this. I think that sadly we have run out of time. If you want, there's a form inside the agenda doc. If ever you want to present something at one of these community calls in the future, you can just submit something. We would be really happy to hear about your projects. I thank you all for joining today, especially thanks Sassi for this fantastic presentation and great demo also during Diwali, which is like festival. So we really appreciate this. And yeah, I'll see you all in a date to be defined in November, possibly not conflicting with Thanksgiving. Stay tuned. And thanks again. Have a good rest of the day. Bye.
Bye. Take care, everyone.
Bye. Have a great afternoon.
Bye.